Welcome back, guys. So today I wanted to do a little bit of a review and my final thoughts of this entire competitive season. Now, it has been the best prep that I have ever done, and coaching myself fully for the first time with some input from Meg, and then obviously having some second opinions as well, has been amazing. It's definitely been challenging, but it's definitely been an amazing learning experience that has definitely filled me with confidence in my ability to prep both myself and be able to operate under pressure, having numerous clients compete with me on show day again, as always. But nevertheless, I'm extremely happy with the package that I've brought. I've managed to bring a substantially improved physique this year, and I definitely am proud of the physique I've brought. Placings aside, I did manage to get top 10 in both shows. But again, placings are not really that relevant for me. What is most relevant is the progress that I've managed to make from 2022 up until 2024 right now. Now, my lowest point in 2022 in prep was around 221 pounds. This time around this year, my lowest point was around 227, 228. And last year I actually stepped on stage at 221. This year, I actually stepped on stage at 231 pounds in Spain and 231.5 pounds in Italy, which I think arguably was a much better peak for me and definitely a much better package. Again, managing all different variables with competing so late on at night, it's been a great learning experience, which again, everything that I do is always documented and recorded, both on my sheets and within my notes that I always take throughout the entirety of the prep. Which means that I am at a point now with doing this for so long, competing myself and having so many clients compete, that the margin for error now is getting slimmer and slimmer. So as you can imagine, I'm extremely excited for the future, but I wanted to do a little bit of a show season wrap up and show you the progress that I've managed to make from 2022 up until 2024. So here you can see more comparison shots as to what I've been able to bring to the stage this time round in comparison to last time. And I truly believe that I can make even more progress throughout this season and this off season into my next prep. Again, eliminating some of the errors that I've made in the previous preps and previous off seasons. And I can hand on heart say that this prep was potentially as perfect as it could have been for this year. It's definitely been a very different experience, peaking myself, being much heavier and much bigger, and I will cover that in detail in a separate video, covering my peaking strategy and covering both shows in detail as to what I did and what I think could have been better, as always, just to give you more of an insight of how peaking looks like at this level and how things are. Now, today, I want to talk about my future plans, and I just wanted to show you some gratitude and showing my actual blood work post-show. So this blood work was taken 2 days post-show. And as you can see, the only markers that are slightly off, my HDL is a little bit low, but that is not really that relevant when my LDL is so low. But when we actually look at my blood work in general here, it's actually pretty impressive, if I'm honest with you, because this blood work has been taken just 2 days after competing. So obviously some markers are a little bit elevated, like ALT, which will always be elevated from training and higher protein diet. But all in all, when you actually look at my blood work fully here, there is actually minimal skewing. And I attribute that largely to health supplementation from trainedbygp.com. Again, use my code KUBA10. But also the way I've managed the actual prep with my nutrition, with managing fatigue, keeping on top of the sleep, and making sure that stress levels are staying down as well. I think all these things accumulatively play a massive role with managing health, and obviously being sensible with my approach with supplementation as well has resulted in me being able to uphold my health markers extremely well. So the plan of action now is to start my next off-season series, which will be called Under Construction. And this is where I will share the process with you, as I am today, sharing my blood work at peak stress, and wanted to kind of get this season wrapped up for you all, and show you the progress that I've actually made and give you some details as to what I've been able to do since 2022 and 2024. Again, I'm very realistic in what I do. I love bodybuilding, I love everything it entails, I love competing, and I love the process more importantly, and that means so much more to me than anything else. I know I'm never going to be Mr. Olympia, And that's something you have to accept when you get to a certain point. However, it does not stop me enjoying the process and fully being able to lock into it and be the best version of myself, because ultimately that's what bodybuilding is all about to me. It's about self-development, wanting to be better and wanting to improve. So that is pretty much the show season wrapped up. The plan of action now, guys, is a health phase, which will take 4 to 6 weeks. More than likely over 6 weeks, where I will actually take my body weight up very, very slowly. And this is something that I cannot stress the importance of, guys. If you slip in your post-show phase, this is what's actually going to ruin your off-season, because your health markers will not actually recover as well as they could with managing your food correctly and being patient in your approach. And that means no binging, no large off-plan meals, and keeping the off-plan meals that you do take roughly macro tracked, so you're not eating above and beyond your needs. Now, secondly, the choices that you make around the food and what food you're actually ingesting really makes a big difference, in my opinion. So always opt for cleaner options that are not filled with the saturated fat and crazy amount of calories, all the stuff that's going to do the damage long term. And this is the biggest reason why, as you can see, my blood work looks so good, in my opinion, is managing the eating and managing my nutrition. So future plans are very, very simple. I am actually almost 2 weeks post-show, exactly, to be honest, it's exactly 11 days post-show today. I am 1.5 pounds up from my stage weight. My sleep has already been restored. And as of today, I've actually been able to increase my baseline food. So my baseline food started exactly at 4,288 calories on training day, 411 grams of protein, 544 grams of carbohydrates, 52 grams of fats. And I will post my diet at the side here so you can see for yourself fully. The macro breakdown for rest day has been 3,481 calories, 401 protein, 341 carb, 57 fat. And this is the diet. Now, as of today, I've actually been able to take a 200 calorie increase on my training days through additional 50 grams of carbohydrates and 180 calorie increase for additional 40 grams of carbohydrates on my rest days, because my weight has actually stalled in the past 10 days just sticking to this diet with no deviation. Although I am still extremely lean, my sleep is back up to consistent 8 hours every single night. And I genuinely feel clean and fresh. And this is where I believe I will see the best recovery post-show. And more importantly, this is where I believe I will set my physique up for the best off-season yet, having a very lean start point and having a very healthy start point as well, through managing my eating and being able to actually utilize my baseline food, which is, again, as you can see from my diet, very high quality, adding all the fats that we need, prioritizing omega-3, 6 and 9, and having a high dose of omega-3 fish oils, which I think is extremely beneficial. I'll touch on that a little bit more in a second. But the way I am planning on approaching this actual recovery phase is I want to prime my body for growth, which means that I need a very lean start point for this off-season phase. Now, if I felt like I needed to add more food and have my body weight come up higher based off poor sleep or poor training, I would have done that. However, my training has actually been superb so far. And my sleep and my energy levels throughout the day have been immense, allowing me to actually bring back my caffeine intake to pretty much none after prep. And as you can imagine, hunger is extremely high, yes, but that's just body fat levels being low. I could eat all my food twice and over and still feel the same. The recovery has been absolutely immense, and I attribute that down to just simply adhering to the plan and not having crazy off-plan meals and not having any degree of inflammation that's being driven through excess calories and poor ingestion of calories as well. One lesson that I want you all to take away from this is you get out what you put in, and your approach post-show can either make you or break you. And this is where I believe most people miss a massive trick with rushing the post-show phase and potentially ruining the off-season. Now, plans moving forward, guys, as I said, 4 to 6 week health phase, and I will follow that on with a 30-week gaining phase. And the reason why I will be able to go for 30 weeks is, again, guys, a lean start point and slow rate of gain, which will then in turn result to gaining more muscle mass and less body fat over a longer period of time, allowing me to stay in a small surplus for much, much longer. Now, the biggest mistake I see people make when it comes to the gaining phases is having large meals that often put them in a massive surplus across the week. Someone could be eating maintenance calories for the entirety of the week, but then they have a massive cheat meal, which then puts them in a surplus. So as you can imagine, guys, people are often underfed and under-recovered through lack of nutrition during the week because they're indulging above and beyond the needs in that one single meal, which then adds a ton of body weight inflammation for the following week. So guys, make sure you're patient with your approach. This is my blood work and my start point with calories and my diet for post-show. I will also add my diet below in my notes so you can actually see for yourself alongside of the calories. And any questions you have, guys, please pop them down below. Now, before I finish this video off, the reason why I'm actually taking in 10 grams of fats every single day from omega-3 fish oils, and again, trainedbyjp.com, they do the highest grade omegas, but I have actually found my lipids improve tremendously with a high dose of omega. You cannot beat such high quality fats that I am actually getting from these omega oils, and I would not be able to get the same amount of quality from any foods. That's the main reason why my fat intake is set like this. So guys, hope you've taken something away from this video. This is just the start point of the series. Next, I will cover the nutrition in a little bit more detail. I will cover competitive wrap-up and peaking for both shows, and my training in a little bit more detail. So look out for these, and I will cover them in a little bit more depth very, very soon, guys. Again, thank you so much. Thank you so much to Trained by JP for the health subs, allowing me to stay as healthy as I have done throughout this prep. And this is my blood work for all those interested. And again, full transparency, guys. Health phase is underway, and off-season will begin very, very soon. Take care, guys.